Hey guys, here we go with extension 7.4's lesson. This is a really weird one, but very useful. So here we go. Okay, so the purpose of this lesson is to be able to write a repeating decimal as a fraction. So as you're writing this down in your notebooks, I'm going to start going over these key ideas. As you know, I'm not a big fan of remembering steps, but I think until we understand what it is that we're doing here, it's good for us to follow these, and then you will just intuitively know what to do. So when you're given a repeating decimal, let's say like 3/10 repeating, what you're going to do is step one, write the equation as x equals that decimal. So in this case, you would just simply say x equals 3/10 repeating. Then you would multiply each side of the equation. So imagine we were going like this. We've got two sides of the equation by 10 to the nth power to form a new equation, where n is the number of repeating digits. So in this example that I've just randomly come up with, if x equals 3/10 repeating, there's only one digit repeating. That would be the 3. So it would be 10 to the first power, or just 10. So multiply both sides by 10. And then you're going to get a new equation, which I'll put down here. 10x equals, move it over once, and it's going to be 3 and 3/10 repeating. And then step 3, subtract the original equation from the new equation. So the original equation was here. X equals 3/10 repeating. Put the whole thing in parentheses, subtract it, and you've got 9x, because we're stepping 4, solving for x. 9x equals 3 minus 3 is 0, so that cancels out. 3 minus 0 is 3. And then we would simply, I'm running out of space, so 9x equals 3. Divide both sides by 9, and you get x equals 1/3. And we all know that that's what the fraction is for 3/10 repeating, but that's where it came from. So here we go on our first official example. We have 4/10 repeating. Step 1, write x equals 4/10 repeating. Going back for a little refresher, step 2, multiplied each side of the equation by 10 to the nth power, where n is the number of digits that repeat. Again, we only have one digit repeating. So for step 2, I'm going to multiply, this is step 2, both sides by 10. Going back, step 3, subtract. Okay, we have to figure this out first. This is 10x equals, and then just a little hint, you might want to just write out the digit that's repeating so that when you're sliding the decimal point over once, since we're multiplying by 10, you see that you have 4 and 4/10 repeating. And that was, again, very similar to what we did here. If this were 3/10 repeating, you'd slide it over once and it would be 3.3, or 3 and 3/10. Okay, here we are with step 3, subtract the original equation, which is x equals 4/10 repeating, from the new equation. And a word of advice, because we're about to get into a crazier one, don't forget to, like I did here, put this in parentheses, because you're taking away both x and the repeating decimal from each side. So here's what I mean. You're taking away x from 10x, that gives you 9x, but you're also taking away right here the 4/10 from the 4 and 4/10. So don't think that you're adding there. Okay, you might even want to just go like this to show that you're subtracting everything. Okay, so once again, if this is all repeating, line up your decimal points. That's really important. And that's all canceling out. That's nothing. 4 minus 0 is going to give me 4. Solve for x. And that's step 4. And you are done. X equals 4/9. So let's just touch base back here. And we did everything we were supposed to. Okay. So at this point, we don't have any on your owns in this lesson, so just pause the video, do these 6 practice problems, and I'm going to have you actually, just to shorten the video time on this, I'm going to have you check your answers on my answer key, which is posted. Okay, so pause the video and then come back after you have checked. Okay, and we're back with example 2. Okay, so don't be confused with this one. It looks like there's going to be two digits repeating, but if you look closely, it's actually 23 hundredths, but only the 3 is repeating, and this is negative, by the way. So step 1, writing it. Be careful again to only put the repeating symbol over the 3. Okay, so we're still only multiplying by 10 because there's only 1 digit repeating here, and that's the 3. So we have 10x equals, and be careful, don't make the same mistake I almost made. This is only the 3 repeating, so once you move it over, it's 2.3 repeating, 2 3/10 repeating. Okay? Alright, now we are going to subtract the original equation. Again, very important that you're lining up your decimal points, and then fill in the place values. This right here is 3, not 0, because remember that 3 is repeating. So once you are taking it all away, remember this is being taken away and that's being taken away, so you can just put the minus in front of both of them. This is 9x, and oops, my bad, that was negative. I said that in the beginning too, and I forgot it. So I'm actually adding the opposite of that. Minus negative, yeah. So that was almost a mistake. Whew, watch that. Let me just show you again real quick what I was debating in my mind. I'm going to erase. This is a good learning moment, actually. Okay, so the original equation was what I was supposed to be taking away right here. X equals negative 23 hundredths with the 3 repeating. Okay, so this was exactly the reason I told you to put it in parentheses, because when you go to take it away, okay, you're taking away a negative amount right here. And remember, just like when you have 4 minus negative 3, I just made that up in my mind, you're adding the opposite, so that's actually 7. Okay, I'm going to erase that because that's just a side example thought. Okay, so going back to this, you are taking away x from 9x, I'm sorry, x from 10x, so that's still 9x. But here, when you are taking away the negative amount, it's negative 2.33 plus 0.23 repeating. Okay? I'm saying that the wrong way just to kind of show you what we have here. We are still subtracting since we have 1 negative and 1 positive. Okay, so that's gone. 3 minus 2 is going to give us 1, and then 2 minus 0 is going to give us 2, and we're keeping the sign of the bigger one. So this is negative 2 1/10. Okay, and then from here we're just going to solve for x. So this one's kind of crazy because you get a complex fraction right here, but it's easy to manipulate if you just multiply it by 10 to move the decimal to the back. So you have negative 21 over 90, divide by 3, and you're going to get negative 7 over 30. Okay, so that's kind of a crazy one. Rewatch that example, especially my mistake, if you're a little bit lost. And let's go on to example 3. So here we go. Our first one, where we have more than 2 digits repeating. Here's where it's going to get a little bit different. So first we're going to write our equation. And then in this case, since the 2 and the 5 are repeating, we're going to be multiplying by 10 to the power of 2, which is 100. Okay, there we go. So multiply both sides by 100, you have 100x equals, remember that this is 0.25, 25, 25, etc. So once you move it over twice, since you are multiplying by 100, you're going to have 125 and 25 hundredths repeating. Okay, subtract the original equation, which was 1 and, oh, I want to line up my decimal points, so let me try that again. 1 and 25 hundredths repeating. And again, you're taking away all of this. This is an easy one because everything's positive. So 100 minus x is going to give me 99x. And then 125.25 minus 1.25. I'm saying this wrong on purpose so that you're noticing where the decimal points are. 5 minus 5 is going to give me nothing. 2 minus 2 is going to give me nothing. And then I'm going straight down. 124. So I divide by 99. And I'm not going to leave this improper. So I can either reduce first and then change it to mixed, or do mixed and then reduced. Let's see if we even need to reduce it if we do mixed first. So 99 goes into 124 once. I just need to see what the remainder is. 124 minus 99. Okay, I don't know why that just took me so long to subtract, but anyways. 1 and 25 99ths. And we are good. That would be our final answer. So once again, you're going to pause the video to do these practice problems. Check my answer key on the post, and then come back and do your mini assessment. Once you do your mini assessment, you are going to post your 3 answers on the Google survey. Just be careful when you're entering these. Let's say you get a fraction of 2 over 7. Just use the side slash bar. So you're going to enter it like, oops, I said 7. I was writing 9. If you get a mixed number, let's say it's 1 and 2/7, do 1 space 2 slash 7, like that. Okay? All right, good luck.